Hello, this is Tutorial Island, and today we're going to talk about display types. So first of all, we will need to create a couple elements. So let's create div element with text inside element body, and let's make 5 of those. So if I refresh now, we will see that it just shows 5 new lines of the same text. And it shows in new lines because this as default, div as default is a block type element. So we can see that here. So if we actually give it a border, so let's do something like div border 1 pixel solid black, and let's give it a margin of 20 pixels and 0. So 20 pixels is going for top and bottom, 0 is for left and right. So if I refresh the page now, we actually seeing that those elements are displayed for the entire width of the body. So in this case, body actually takes some space on the sides. So as you see, it's about 5-6 pixels. So if I select the body, as you see, body is also type display block. And it also has margin of 8 pixels from all the sides. So if I wanted that my div elements would actually touch the sides of the viewport, I would need to define that body would have a margin of 0. So this actually would allow our content to touch the sides. So sometimes it's really important to have that feature. So for now it doesn't really matter much, but what we have here, so we have a block level element, which means that everything inside inside the parent component will take 100% of space. So what I mean by that, if I create something inside of, let's say, this element, some new stuff, let's create another div, and let's type subdiv inside. So that means that this element is actually inside of that element. So if I refresh that, you would assume that it should take the right side of the element and take full space. But what it actually does, it goes to new line and takes 100% of that current div which is inside of that element. So it always takes 100% no matter how many elements are inside. Elements will be moved. So if we change display type for this specific element, so let's add the class subdiv, and let's define the class in our CSS. So subdiv, and let's change display type to inline-block. So if we type inline-block, which is this one, it will actually stand just after the text itself, and it has padding of 50 pixels from top to bottom as well, because it's still div element. So if I wanted to remove that, I would need to type margin 0, and now it will actually take just its own space. So there is also type inline, which looks pretty much similar. It takes exact same of line height and acts very similar to inline block. Difference is that if I try to add a width of let's say 250 pixels and I refresh the page, nothing is changing. Inline elements are acting basically like a text. So what is inside, it just shows that specific content, and that's it. If it was not text but element, it will take exact amount of that element. So inside of this one, I cannot add block element and expect that it's going to take 100% of its parent size. What else we can do? We can do we can change that to inline block, which would actually increase the size. So now it's taking 250 pixels of the width for that specific element, because inline block element acts like block element, just width is not explicitly defined to 100%. So in this case, we can actually define our own width. There is also different types of display properties like list item. So this is also sometimes used, but I would prefer to use actual list for that. And that just goes to new list place. So if I create a couple of those, it will look like list. So list basically is as well like not block element, but something very similar to that. There is more options like table. So if I type this, there is like table caption, table cell, table column, but I'm not going to talk about those because those are not supported by Internet Explorer 7, and Internet Explorer 8 explicitly requires to define doc type. So it's not yet supported by all browsers, so I would keep that slightly away from like actual production code. And there is also in display types flex type, which I'm going to have a completely separate tutorial for because it has a lot of various new features, but it's also not supported by all browsers just yet, but it's getting popularity. So this tutorial will come soon. We also have something called like display none. So if I actually change this back to, let's say, inline-block, so that would actually move those three elements just one behind the other. And I would need to create class hidden, and I would like to change display type to none, and I'm going to add it to a middle element. So what's going to happen? This element, after refreshing, will have a class display none. So I refreshed it and it actually disappeared. It's not even displayed on the DOM. So this is something good to know. And if you actually would use, instead of display none, and you want to hide element but keep its initial place, you can use visibility and visibility hidden, and that would actually hide the element, but element will be there as transparent. So you're not going to see the contents of that element. You cannot select the contents of that element, but it's not there, but still takes its own place. So if I define height, for example, of 100 pixels, it would actually take the space here. So this is a difference between display none and visibility hidden. Of course, we can keep it visible, so this kind of overrides backwards. But since our class is called hidden, let's keep it hidden. So I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.